It is Beat the Champ presented by Storm. We're at a brand new venue. It is the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls, New York. And here's our lineup for today. Stephen Conklin will begin by taking on Angela Glaser. The winner battles Justin Wyman, and then it's our returning champion, Dave Kirsch. We are just miles from a natural wonder of the world, and we expect our bowlers to be equally as amazing and breathtaking, right? Sue Nawojski joining us here. This is fun. This is a fun venue, great scoring, and we have our first female bowler on the show.
That's right. She bowled great this week to make the show. She's had a wonderful season. We're going to see how this plays out for her to cap off that season she's had.
All right, we're going to have a lot of fun here today here at the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls. We're going to get it started. It's going to be Angela and Stephen first match, so let's get rolling. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by Latina Boulevard Foods, your favorite family in food distribution. Welcome back to Niagara Falls, New York and the Rapids Bowling Center. As we said, we're excited to have a little bit of history on this show, and to get a little more perspective on that, Sue is with Angela Glaser.
Thanks, Paul. I'm here with Angela. Angela, your list of accomplishments are amazing. You've been Tonawanda Bowler of the Year. You just recently won our Queens tournament for the regional level, and you've won a regional for the PWBA. Where does this line up with all of those accomplishments?
I mean, this is pretty neat. Look at this setup that the Storm has for us here. I'm honestly humbled to be here, and I can't wait to get going. So.
Do you think those tournaments gave you a little bit more confidence, though?
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
All right. Well, you go make us ladies proud.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Sue. Yeah, heck yeah, she is ready to go, and I know she's going to make everybody proud. Our host center for Beat the Champ, presented by Storm, is Rapids Bowling Center, and you can find them online at therapidsbowlingcenter.com. They are just one of our many great host centers. If you want details on how to be a part of Beat the Champ, just stop in at any of our host centers and ask them, how can I be on the show? And we might be seeing you here on the lanes like we are seeing Stephen Conklin and Angela Glaser ready to go. You know, I know that you are impartial, but I do feel like you've got a little more emotion about this match, don't you?
Well, I always cheer for us fellow women.
Yeah, as you
and
should.
And taking on the guys is always, a little bit different.
Yeah, and again, this is, aside from Buffalo and Rochester and upstate New York being an amazing bowling area, it's an amazing women's bowling area. You are among the many testaments to that.
And obviously Liz Johnson's come right down the street from us here in Niagara Falls, and probably the greatest of all time, and definitely all those goat T-shirts we bought her have to come into play for some reason. But that was a great way for Angela to get out of the gate too. Posting up a strike.
And speaking of from right here in Niagara Falls, Stephen Conklin is a native of the Cataract City, 30 years old, and equally off to a good start. So again, and Stephen knows what he's up against here. He knows that, aside from, I'm sure he knows Angela is a top flight bowler, you're the first guy that's going against the first woman we've had on the show, and it does not seem to be phasing Mr. Conklin.
Well, that right there was definitely inside of his target and gives us a little bit of an idea of how a house shot plays, because he's not showing it, but he definitely got that inside, and it held, which is a characteristic of the house shot oil, where the more oil is in the middle of the lane, and it'll hold off the hook of the ball. So we got away with that one.
Yeah, and if you were with us last week when we were at Transit Lanes, it was not a house shot. We talked a lot about the challenge of figuring out the shot that was presented to the bowlers. The scores might have been a little lower than you might see, but here we are at a place that tends to be a high-scoring center anyway, with a shot that should lend itself to that.
Right. Well, we talk about break points, and even though these two throw the ball very, very differently, Angela's much more down and in. She's using more surface to, help her get through the wet boards, but they're looking for the same break point down the lane regardless of how they get there. And Angela here is just going a little straighter up the lane.
Third frame.
Oh, that was in a little bit.
Yeah, you saw it. It's a little more towards the center, kind of lost some of its momentum. 37 years old from Lockport, New York, just a couple of miles east of here in Niagara Falls. A coding specialist at the Erie County Medical Center is the profession for Angela Glaser. And
that was an interesting way to attack that spare. Normally,
why?
You normally don't. It's not customary to stand in your strike position to shoot that spare. Although I can see how she did it. You're more standing on the left, shooting it like you would a right-hand spare. But she made it. That's what matters.
All right. That's all that matters. Third frame now for Stephen Conklin. Strikes in the first two, and he'll have to work on his spare ball. Hobby Lobby associate full-time is the occupation for Stephen, 30 years old, from, as I mentioned, here in Niagara Falls, New York, 221 average, and bowls in one league a week here at the Rapids Bowling Center. Bowls a couple of different places around the Niagara Falls area, but does bowl only for the first year. So it's not like Stephen brings a wealth of knowledge of this place here. He's bowled here a lot, but he bowls here once a week.
Well, this is a relatively newer bowling center for Western New York. I mean, even though Rapids has been here for a while, and it was Thunder Bowl back in the day, they had a fire, which made them have to replace everything. So most of the equipment here would be a lot newer than you would see in any local bowling centers, which lends itself to a little higher scoring. So he's seeing the shot that he sees in league, and but obviously without the lights and without the cameras and without the scoreboard. It's probably similar to what he sees when he bowls league here. Much better shot.
Much better is right. So strikes in the first two frames, the spare we just showed you, and a strike in the fourth for Stephen Conklin Sr. And here's a cool angle to see that big hook hitting right where it needs to.
Slapping out that 10. Always a sign of a really good shot.
Yeah. So back to Angela now, who has got her start in bowling, teenage years, and kind of got away from the sport for a little while, then got back into it, and clearly at a high level. Oh, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge here in the fourth frame for her.
Yeah, that's a tough break right there. Ball was a good shot. Hit the dry a little bit quick, though. Ball hooked up a little high for her, and it was just a tough spare to make.
Too much on the head pin that time.
That's it.
And it's going to fade to the left, and it's going to leave Angela open here in the fourth frame.
I would say that one of the advantages to Angela is she is pretty level-headed. She doesn't get super emotional one way or the other, which I think has been to her advantage in some of these titles that she has accomplished. I mean, the Bowler of the Year is the fruition of a great season. Winning our Queens tournament, it was pretty competitive, and she bowled some great bowlers to win. Great shot right there.
Strike in the fifth.
She keeps her head pretty steady.
Yeah, Tonawanda Classic Bowler of the Year on the women's side, which is what you refer to, and she has been a PW, Professional Women's Bowling Association Regional Champion. And explain to people a little more what the Queens Tournament is and why that is such a high honor.
Well, the Queens Tournament here is it's a regional Queens now, so it's everyone from 5 different areas. So that's the Lockport Bowling Association, it's the Buffalo Bowling Association, all the associations locally, their best bowlers come and compete against each other.
Watch this pin come zooming across.
He just missed it, and he had the pin in the gutter too that could have popped out.
I think was that his groin right off the bat.
It was.
He knew it.
It was.
All right, so both bowlers have gone open in the last 2 frames here. That kind of evens things out a little bit. So. Really, 3 strikes and a spare and an open for both bowlers through 5 frames.
I have
so
to
we're
feel
even.
like there's a little bit of nerves coming into play here, because this really is, your typical house shot, but they're throwing it just a little bit nervous. There's a good shot for you.
So that will take us to our first time out here. We got a good one going between Stephen and Angela. Come on back to Niagara Falls.
What is it about bowling that captivates us so much? Mastery of the game is impossible, but perfection is just within reach. Success seems to lie 60 feet ahead, but the real battle takes place 6 inches between your ears. So if no matter how many times you fail, you would still do anything, and I mean anything, just to get 1% better. We know exactly how you feel.
X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
So Angela Glaser gets set to go here in the 6th frame. Yeah, knowing that there's not a whole lot of margin for error right now based on the way Stephen's bowling.
Well, actually that strike there put her ahead. Him missing that 10-pin, we talk about the importance of spares, and again, that missing that 10-pin gave her the opening to make up for that 4-9 that she left. Perfect shot, perfect adjustment on the 4-9 that she had left there, and now she's up 9 pins in this match.
Yeah, this is our first appearance on our show for both Angela and Stephen. You referenced maybe a little bit of nerves, right? This is the first time we have had both of them on the show for obvious reasons, with Angela being the first woman we've had on Beat the Champ. Seventh frame for Stephen Conklin. And that is a double for Stephen, 6th and 7th frames.
That's a big strike for Steve. I mean, with Angela doubling in the 6th and 7th, that put her ahead 9. Could have been 19 if he didn't strike here, but he's kept her lead to 9 pins with that strike.
He's been bowling since he was 2 years old, and I confirmed this by talking to his mom before we got started here, who has been a bowler. She is active in local bowling associations. So we used to bring him here, and he'd put him out on the lanes, and he did not want to leave at 2 years old. I think he learned something from 2 years old, huh? Bowled for the Niagara Falls High School bowling team, and one of the big achievements that he's the most proud of is a local tournament here named after a former teacher in the school district, the Lou Marcantonio tournament, and he won that a couple of years ago, and that's up here in Niagara Falls. That's a big deal.
So Angela needs this here to keep up her 9-pin lead.
And she was working 3 in a row and just 1 pin shy of making it 4 in a row.
Well, her ball's going to be a little sensitive. She's using a duller ball. Her ball's going to be a little sensitive to the dry, and her ball speed's, obviously a little slower when you look at these guys.
I was going to ask you about
rates.
that. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. So that really just means she needs to be more precise.
It means that your equipment choice might be different. Obviously, you're not going to throw pins around the way these guys throw it with the rev rates. So, but women do make up with it with accuracy and great spare shooting. I mean, I'm not saying that guys aren't great spare shooters, but we really have to perfect our spare game, because no matter how many strikes you throw at the end of the day, how many times have we seen a spare cost people a match?
You have to make your spares. How many times have you said that to me on this show?
Yep. We've just seen it so many times calling these matches, how much the spare actually adds up at the end. She got a little loft on that ball, and it actually
Saw
gave
it bounce, right? You saw it bounce.
Yeah, it actually gave her a little better hit. She slapped that 10 out. You saw that 10 get cracked out at the end.
So this has been a terrific match, and Stevens bowled great. Only one spare and one open. Strikes the rest of the way and add another one in the 9th frame.
He got the messenger that time.
Yes, he did. The messenger got the message.
So Steve can shut Angela out by doubling here in the 10th. He does have a 12-pin advantage now with throwing that strike to make a 4-bagger.
Yeah, so since the open in the 5th, it's been a 4-bagger for Stephen Conklin, and you can see him. He is locked in. He's got the crowd support here, as you can clearly hear. 10th frame. There's 5 in a row.
He's really comfortable on that left lane, too. The only errors he's really made has been on the right lane. He, since he pulled it in on his first shot on the left lane and saw that he had that little bit of area, he's been just perfect on that lane.
50 career 300s and a high 845 series in the long bowling career, almost 30 years of Stephen Conklin. Second ball, 10th frame, another strike.
That will shut Angela out.
And that is going to give Stephen Conklin a chance to bowl again here in his hometown with the hometown crowd cheering him on. Stephen Conklin has come up with the victory, and boy, you could just, the look of confidence.
Oh, you think he wanted the 3 slap outs? That
a
wasn't
3 slapper. How about that?
Never saw that one before.
How about ending with 8 consecutive strikes for a 246 for Stephen Conklin? We said the scores were going to be pretty high today.
That's right. This is a high-scoring lane condition here. It's just optimum pin carry. There's going to be some scores today.
I'm gonna let you give a little message to all the other female bowlers, and we know there are so many of them in Western New York, to try to do what Angela just did here today.
Absolutely, and then we're all capable of it, and she's just great for her showing up, and she shot 279 to make it into the show, and it was a great accomplishment, and you know, I'm sure you could choose the first, but she won't be the last.
Nope. I hope not, and I know that won't be the case. So Angela Glaser, our first female bowler here on Beat the Champ, is unfortunately matched up against a red-hot guy. 246 to 200. Stephen Conklin moves on. Match 2 is coming your way next. Couple of big, powerful shot makers ready to go here. Match number 2, Justin Wyman and Stephen Conklin. Conklin coming off 7 consecutive strikes to end the match and the victory over Angela Glaser. So can Stephen keep the momentum? I guess the answer to that is yes.
Yeah, he is pumped up. This is going to be a great match. These two are really evenly matched as far as how they're playing the lane, their rev rates, their ability to throw pins all over the place. I mean, this is going to be a match of wits more than it's going to be a match of physical skill.
41-year-old Justin Wyman from East Rochester, New York, making his Beat the Champ debut. He was our top qualifier with a 793 series to make the show. And as we tell you a little more about Justin, he is a guy who lives in the bowling world, so he will be comfortable where we are here, and getting off to a good strike gets a lot of those nerves right out of the way.
Yeah, he's stuck a little bit there, and it's hard to say whether his feet just got a little quick, because sometimes when your feet are fast and you throw yourself off a little bit, it can feel like a stick or legitimately stuck. Either way, it went Brooklyn. He got away with it, and we have an even match going into frame 2.
So Justin is a pro shop owner in the Rochester area, and Justin works with us here on the Beat the Champ TV production on the production side of things with the set and the lighting. So that's why I say he is familiar with everything that's going on here. Now, that doesn't count the nerves that he might have of finally being on the other side of the camera.
Yeah, that's right. I got the feeling that just by talking to him that this is an exciting moment for him to be in front of the camera as opposed to behind it. And throws the ball absolutely great. I know he's been working on some facets of his game, getting more behind the ball. And that one got in a little bit for him.
Like a very late break that took it away from the pockets.
We're dealing with a lot of rev right here, and he got that in a little bit. This is the lane here. Almost looked like he wanted to see that one through. This left lane here seems to be Conklin's, like, he's so confident on that left lane. This right lane here that he's coming up on now, he's been a little bit iffy on. So this one here is his Achilles heel on this right lane.
That is 9 in a row from the first match to now, and I don't know that you have seen one of our bowlers be in such a groove earlier than Stephen Conklin is right now.
Yeah, he's playing them different. On the right lane, he's getting it all the way out to like the outside boards and bringing it back from out there, where he's keeping it more in the track on the left lane. So he's definitely playing the 2 lanes different. This one's right around 10.
Boy, he is just locked into the pocket right now.
He is, and he's intense.
That is 10 strikes in a row. And again, Niagara Falls, New York native. You can hear the turnout of the crowd. I assume a lot of his buddies and family members are here cheering him on. And it's presenting itself as a very nice atmosphere and something else that Justin will have to overcome.
Better shot there.
Yeah,
Better
such a smooth form for Justin Wyman.
The one thing Justin has, being in the business as deep as he is an intense amount of knowledge. When you are a pro shop operator, you have to know the physics of these bowling balls. You know what they do, and you actually get into a facet of the game that is not everyone can really understand, but can also overcomplicate things for you as well, because you just know too much, and you start getting into the nitty-gritty of, the slightest changes, and that takes away from just executing sometimes.
You know exactly what the ball is supposed to do. Is that part of the challenge of when it always making sure that it does that?
Well, there's just so many things that you think bowling is an easier sport than it is. There's so many factors to it. And when you talk about equipment, this has become such a technology game that having the right ball in your hand can give you another messenger. I think that was a triple slap too right there. You get into the surfaces, and you get into centers of gravity, and all of these things that your average bowler who comes in to buy a bowling ball is just looking for something, either goes long or it hooks early. Yep.
Oh, that was a triple slap.
Wow.
You're right. You saw that.
He's going to hurt himself. He's hitting him pretty hard.
5th frame. Stephen Conklin looking for his 5th strike. Got it.
Well, in our production meeting, it was mentioned that there was a possibility of someone shooting a 300 or getting really close to it, because the great carry this house has. And, the pins fly here, so sometimes.
Yeah, I think we've seen that all right.
Yeah.
I've seen pins moving faster than the water going over Niagara Falls right now.
The scores are typically pretty high here.
So now Justin, as he hits the 5th frame, has to know that there's not a lot of margin
Great
for
shot.
error.
That's true, but the way I look at this is there's a first half of the game and the second half of the game, and the second half of the game doesn't always match the first half of the game, so just stay with it. I mean, as intense as Steve is, and as great as this looks, we're just talking about the difference between a spare and a strike. Justin's got 4 out of 5 strikes. Just got to stay with it.
20 career 300 games, a high 824 series for Justin Wyman, who has been bowling not quite 2 years old like Steven, but picked up that bowling ball at about 5 years old and has been going ever since.
Well, he's got a genuine love for the game and an extreme amount of knowledge.
He didn't like that, did he?
No, that one got all the way to the lip. He missed that one right.
As you'll see, he dropped to his knees as soon as he threw it. He knew it right there.
Well, sometimes on a house shot, if you can hope the dry boards will help you, and in this case, he just over-skated through his target, and it didn't have enough time to come back. But there's always that hope on these house shots. You miss in a little bit, gives you a little hold. You miss right, it's going to come back for you. That was just a little bit too much to the right.
All right, so a little work to do here for a spare in the 6th frame. You see the sleeper there. And he gets them both. So again, a good spare for Justin, but he's battling a guy who hasn't missed a pin yet. We'll come back for the conclusion of this one right after this.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends,
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
we are
The bowling proprietors.
Of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
Four of this season's best bowlers will emerge from an elite field and take aim at the season's biggest first-place check, where only one can win. It's the season finale and the coveted title, the Beat the Champ Invitational, presented by Storm. Find out who wins this season's signature event. Catch all the action here on MSG. Sixth frame for Stephen Conklin. He has not missed yet. He has struck out the first 5 frames, and now his streak from his first match, the win over Angela Glaser, is up to 12 in a row.
And that would be considered an Andy Verapapa 300.
Make it 13. Now, wait, what's when you get
I knew
when
you
you
were
get
gonna
a
get me on that
300
one.
game over 2 matches like that?
That's right. When you get 12 in a row, but it comes in between. But it comes in 2 games.
I love that. Bonus points if you if you get like a 300 and a half, right? Is that And a pensive Justin Wyman looks on.
I think he closed his eyes on this one.
I think he doesn't want us to look anymore. Probably not a bad idea to have closed his eyes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
A little scary.
Yeah, scary is right.
Look at that intensity.
Look at that. 14 consecutive strikes over 2 matches now for Stephen Conklin. He's perfect through 7, and now Justin Wyman just has to keep putting the pressure on him.
So you are watching 2 very talented bowlers right here. This is such a nice game.
And Justin says, I can do that too. We got a kick out of it. Before we went to the break there, we took that shot at Justin, and he kind of put his hand up. I think that's just a normal reaction of him cueing the crowd, because that's what he normally does when he works on our broadcast. We don't need him to do that today, but he did it anyway.
He's a company man.
He is. Those old habits do die hard. So, and again, it's been fun. Justin's such a great guy to work with, and for him to have this cool moment in the sun is something that he's been looking for all year long, and we're excited that he's got it. And he's bowled well, but unfortunately, he's bowling against a guy who is lights out right now. Yep, and the
this just
pesky 10 pin
didn't
holds
quite
up.
go the way Justin was hoping. He was very excited about making this TV show, and he'll certainly be on another. But
well, he's going to be on every one.
Now people will be able to pick him out of the crowd.
That's right.
Didn't know who he was before, but now you'll see him.
And if you come to one of our tapings, which we encourage you to do, as you can clearly hear, it is a fun atmosphere. Justin is the guy that's going to tell you when to clap and when to cheer and all the other stuff that he does as our stage manager. And I think the reality probably is set in a little bit for Justin right now.
Sure.
Is he's bowled well, but as you know, there's no defense in this sport, and right now there's no stopping Stephen Conklin.
Right.
Perfect through 7. Make it 8.
Yeah, you know what? And when someone is posting all these strikes up against you, it may make you try to make a little bit of a change here and there. That put a little strain into your game, trying to force a situation because you have to strike. I mean, you're no longer in a situation where if you leave a 10-pin, you're okay. You just make it. Because when someone's got 4, 5, 6 strikes against you, it changes your mindset because you are in must-strike situations every time you go up. But now, you know, Stephen is just so locked in and so intense.
9th frame. Nine frames, 9 strikes for Stephen Conklin.
Stephen has made it through 2 matches without not striking on this left lane. And
Boy,
that one was the prettiest of them all.
He is locked in. We have not had a 300 game here on Beat the Champ. The best we had was a 289 from CJ Buttery at the Tonawanda Bowling Center a couple of months ago. But we have not had, we've had him in qualifying, but we have not had one on the show. And we're going to go to the 10th frame with Stephen Conklin trying to be the first guy to do it. And you know what? The TV guy deep inside of Justin will enjoy sitting back and watching the drama of it.
And I think Justin wants to just bowl fast and get out of his way because he's going to cheer for a moment like shooting 300 on TV. So he just want to bowl and let Stephen get up.
Look, he's telling the ball return to speed up because he wants to get out of the way. And again, he will understand the drama about to happen, and I know he'll enjoy sitting and watching it.
Well, now we can get our Justin back because he's been wound up like a top today.
Yes, he has. and again, we're happy to have him back on the TV side. We're bummed for him that this didn't go the way that he wanted to, but we are happy to get him back on our side now. So Justin is able to pull off that spare, and there's a little clap of the hands and a slap to his opponent. So it's a 194 for Justin Wyman, but Justin and everybody else going to sit back and see if Stephen Conklin can finish this off. 10th frame, perfect so far. Watch and listen.
Great shot.
There's one. Oh, the crowd is liking it. Why not? Hometown guy. Bowls in a league here at the Rapids Bowling Center, about to do something on television that you just don't see very often, and it's still one of the most amazing things to watch on TV, no matter how much you're into this sport or not.
All right, this is the first time we would have the front 11 if he can pull this off. Ooh, got that right. All right.
Oh, he got it lucky a little bit too.
Yep, he got that a little bit to the gutter, but it came back and got this light swisher hit. So he does have a little bit of room out there, which you definitely want to see.
All right, here we go for a perfect game here on Beat the Champ for the first time ever. 10th frame. Stephen Conklin.
I like it.
He's got it!
Well, our producer called it. He said we would have a 300 today, and We didn't have to wait very long.
Joe Ciccone, you are a genius. And how much fun was this to watch? Stephen Conklin, watch it. How many slaps do we get now? We don't need any. We just need the arms raised and the slap of the hands and of the fans that came on to cheer him here in Niagara Falls. What a moment. We'll take a timeout because Stephen's got more bowling to do. What a moment here at the Rapids Bowling Center. Stephen Conklin throws our first ever Beat the Champ 300 game. Mr. Perfect is with Sue Nawojski.
Thanks, Paul. Stephen, 12 perfect shots on television. You just shot 300. Describe to us what we saw.
A lot of nerves, a lot of good shots. I just focus one shot at a time. I'm throwing a good shot and hit my mark, and I do that. It's hard to miss.
All right, well, you've got one more match to be our title winner. Get out there and do it again. Back to you, Paul.
Do it again, she said. How about that for putting a little pressure on Stephen Conklin? Let's watch what clinched the 300 game. Look at the reaction from Stephen. And the crowd here, as you could hear, obviously he's a Niagara Falls guy. He had a good turnout of people cheering him on. And then you tell me there's no bowling center in the world that doesn't get people fired up when they see somebody. Go do it again, did you say to him? Well, that's going to be Dave Kirsch's job to either match him or figure out a way to try to prevent him from doing it. He is our returning champion. Dave Kirsch will get us started here. It's our title match, week number 1 at the Rapids Bowling Center. Kirsch and Conklin. And there you go. Dave Kirsch says, I can do that too. So
well, you heard of 900s,
cool
haven't you?
Yeah. So we didn't have any more time for you to ask him any more questions, but I would have said to you, ask him what's it going to take to get a 4 slap out of him.
Oh. Yeah. I will say that the hardest thing to do after something that exciting is to keep up that intensity.
Yeah. Well, and again, so that ends the run of 19 consecutive strikes from the first match through the 300. At some point it was going to end. So now you have reached this incredible high, both of emotion and everything else. How do you reset yourself?
It is one of you shoot 300 even in league, and if it's in the first or second game, the next game that comes back because you're so excited, it is a definite letdown when you bowl the next game. So keeping up your intensity is a definite challenge. But in this atmosphere, it's going to be your best chance of keeping up your intensity.
So what a performance. That was fun to watch from Stephen Conklin. And again, now go right back and, as you said, do it again.
Maybe I meant win. Maybe I meant win.
I know you meant win. But again, and now he's got to do it again against a incredibly high-level bowler in Dave Kirsch. Maybe Stephen getting that stretch out of the way, making his spare, allows him to reset.
Oh.
And it's just that's what's amazing to me about this sport. He just bowled every shot perfect, got every break perfect, and then all of a sudden now the sport says, whoa, wait a minute, we're going to stick a couple 7s on you.
So here's a little bit of what changes. Your adrenaline is not running as hard, so the ball speed is just off by a hair. That was smoother and not quite as hard as he was throwing it before, and it hooked up just ever so slightly. Just enough to 4-pin, 7-pin, just a little bit high hits. Now the question is, do you amp it up more? Do you look a little further down the lane? If you start moving your feet and you start moving your target area, you're going to start to hit more oil and you lose your carry. So always the challenge of continuing on striking on the same pair is, how is this pair going to change up a little bit?
All right, here's Dave Kirsch. He's our first lefty. He is our returning champion from last week at Transit Lanes. And in order to get to being our champion, he had to win 3 consecutive matches, and that was in our league bowlers competition part. So Dave comes out of the league bowlers show, wins 3, comes here, and welcome to Niagara Falls, Mr. Kirsch. We're gonna throw a 7-10 at you.
That pin was going down, and another pin came and helped stand it back up again.
Oh, I saw what he was trying to do there.
Yeah, it was off spot, just enough for him to be able to catch the end of it. If you see, it's not all the way to the right. He was able to nick the end of it.
So
pretty good.
You just want to nick that and have it slide.
Actually, the only way to make it is to bounce it. You really have to bounce it.
Right. Dave Kirsch is 57 years old. He is from Eden, New York. He's a retired electrical engineer. And as we told you, if you were with us on last week's show, you know, Dave is not a name that we've had on our show very much until we dug a little deeper and saw that, oh, by the way, he's an Obenauer Masters champion from 2021. And if you're not familiar with what that means, it is the most prestigious, hardest tournament to win in the Buffalo area, and when you win it, as I said to Dave, you become Buffalo royalty.
Well, you've earned it. Nobody's getting away with that tournament without a lot of hard work. You're not getting lucky through that one.
So that tells me that Dave knows how to grind out wins, to handle the pressure, to know that he's the guy everyone is trying to beat. And we saw that last week at Transit, and we're going to find out if we see it again here. So Steven goes back on the strike train there with the third frame strike as Dave Kirsch looks on.
Well, you're right about one thing, is it's weird how you can still hit the pocket, and now all of a sudden they're not falling the way they were falling before. I mean, this was definitely another ball that could have struck. He carried a lot of swisher strikes today. Another pin came through and blocked the pin that was going to come over and take that out. So it ends up just being pin collision. But I'm guessing the fact that he had a little bit of a light hit there on the left lane, that he had to make a slight adjustment, and all of a sudden your angle of entry into the pocket becomes a little bit different.
So it's 3 spares and a strike in the first 4 frames for Stephen Conklin. So in order to get to our show today, meaning he won last week, Dave Kirsch had to end an impressive 3-week run of Josh Shoemaker, who had won 3 weeks in a row on the show. He might have thought, oh, now I'm going up against the league bowling guys, and all of a sudden it happens to be a league bowler who has won Buffalo's most important tournament. And the interesting thing to me, and again, we were on a much different and much more challenging oil pattern last week at Transit, but in his 3 wins last week, Dave Kirsch averaged only 206. So he was not dominating. He was just getting what he needed to get to win.
Well, 206 on a tougher pattern is good, very good actually. I mean, I don't like to get all caught up in scores, because it really, what the important thing is that the two opponents, or that the opponents are on the same level playing field and they're playing on the same shot. And, you know, scoring conditions like we have here at Rapids will give you higher numbers, and they sound pretty, but what matters is that you beat your opponent on the same shot.
Dave Kirsch bowls a couple of leagues a week, of course, one of them at Transit, which is why he was eligible for last week's show. He's got 14 career 300 games and a high 830 series, and again, he's a humble guy, and he doesn't say too much, and he didn't give us a lot of biographical information other than, I won an Obenauer Masters, and you know what? You can stop there.
No, he still reminds me of Die Hard. That's my nickname for him. He's got that Bruce Willis way about him. He's got a little smirk.
He's
not saying a whole lot.
I like it. Look that up, kids, and if you haven't seen Die Hard, do it. Just do it once, watch it. It's a classic. It's a movie you must see at least once in your life.
Well,
and go watch it around Christmas time.
Oh,
right.
Right. That's a Christmas movie.
I don't agree, but people say it's a Christmas movie.
Well, my Christmas movie was always South Park. That's another story.
Oh, that is a much different story. Yeah.
So all along, the left lane has been Steven's great lane. Like this game now, all of a sudden, that's changed a little bit, and he's figured out the right lane. There we go.
That looked as much like all the ones he threw in the perfect game as anything else. We got a good one going. Kirsch and Conklin, come on back.
What is it about bowling that captivates us so much? Mastery of the game is impossible, but perfection is just within reach. Success seems to lie 60 feet ahead, but the real battle takes place 6 inches between your ears. So no matter how many times you fail, you would still do anything, and I mean anything, just to get 1% better. We know exactly how you feel.
.12X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
Sixth frame now for Dave Kirsch in a good, tight match off the red-hot Stephen Conklin's perfect game. He's trying to keep that momentum going, and Dave is trying to calm everybody down a little around here. And that one got away from him, and it leaves himself a picket fence of the 2-4-7.
Yeah, and he's already down 11 pins. He's down 11 pins, so this was kind of a must-strike situation for him to just keep close in the match. And now Steven's going to pick up a few more pins here.
And that's a good spare pickup here in the sixth for Dave Kirsch.
You do see the different demeanors of bowlers now, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I don't think we're going to get a 3 slapper out of Dave no matter what.
Well, you know how intensity matters, and it was easy to keep your intensity up when you're bowling Justin because they were almost matched in intensity. Now here, when you're bowling Dave, who's a lot calmer and a lot steadier demeanor, kind of similar to how Angela was, not as animated, you could see the difference.
Seventh frame now for Stephen Conklin. He's working a double, trying to get back on the strike train. And there you go. That's 3 in a row. I have to think that the enthusiasm in this building, generated by the 300, but already there because he's got a good turnout of people from right here in Niagara Falls where he's from, has to make a difference.
I would agree that they're definitely feed off the crowd, and he needs that emotion here because he seems to thrive on the emotion. He's up 30 pins now. Strike here, he can go up 31 pins.
I was going to say that was a different kind of sleeper we might have just seen there from Dave Kirsch. Stay with me here. I'm here all night, folks. All right, Dave Kirsch. And just gets the wobble out of the 7. It won't go down. So that ends a run of 2 in a row there by Dave, who kind of needs every strike he can get right now with Stephen Conklin bowling the way he is.
Yeah, in this case, spares just aren't enough. I mean, Stephen is steamrolling this.
Yeah, that's a great choice of words. He has steamrolled everyone and everything here today at the Rapids Bowling Center, and it has been fun to watch. And if Stephen continues to steamroll, we're going to get to see him again on next week's show. Because that's what happens. When you win, you get to come back because you are the champ, and everybody else has to beat the champ.
So Dave's maximum score is a 208. So all Stephen needs to do is really keep the ball in the lane for the next 2 frames. He's pretty He's got a pretty good lead going in here to the 9th frame.
Yeah, he's working 4 in a row. Do we have a 5-bagger? We do.
Man, this guy has the ability to really channel his energy.
Sure does. And there's a lot of heat. There's a lot of energy in this building. There's a lot of energy from his form as well. And he's got to be feeding off of all of that energy. 246 in the first match, 300 in the second. What's Stephen Conklin going to put on the board here? Man, you could just see the revs and the spin of that bowling ball.
Possible 259.
He's got 6 in a row. Yeah.
You know, a great adjustment on his part because he did get a little bit of a strange reaction to start the game off. He had to make a little bit of a move, and he figured out how to strike.
And we're at the point now where it doesn't really matter. But you know, again, to see him continue to strike every time is asking a lot. So we'll let him slide with that 8, and if he finishes off the spare here, it's going to be another impressive score. Again, we're on a house shot here. This is a scoring center, so we expected to get higher scores than we have generally maybe been getting, and that has absolutely been the case. It's a 247 for Stephen Conklin. And Dave Kirsch's 1-week run as our champion will come to end. Very little to do with his own fault, more to do with the guy that he was bowling against. So Stephen Conklin, 3 in a row. He is our champion. We'll talk to him. We're coming back. It's BTC in the NF.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are
The bowling proprietors.
Of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
Four of this season's best bowlers will emerge from an elite field and take aim at the season's biggest first-place check, where only one can win. It's the season finale and the coveted title, the Beat the Champ Invitational, presented by Storm. Find out who wins this season's signature event. Catch all the action here on MSG. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by the Bowling Proprietors Association of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today. What a way to get things started here in Niagara Falls at the Rapids Bowling Center. Stephen Conklin is our champion. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, and you just pound your way to 3 wins. How does it feel?
Feels amazing. Just, it's hard to explain. A lot of emotion and lights and trying to block all that out. It's a process, but you managed to get through it and focus on each shot.
Yeah, well, he sure did, Sue. What impressed you the most about Stephen?
His intensity and his focus. I mean, you could see in his eyes just the intensity on being in the moment, and he didn't allow any distractions to get in his way, and you could see it in his face.
All right, well, speaking of the moment, let's run it back. Let's show it to you again. Stephen Conklin's going to take us through the 300 clincher.
I just try to make a good shot from previous ones, and each shot's got to be better than the last, and that's really my main focus. And I just, they all fell in everything felt amazing.
What has it meant to you to have such a great turnout of your friends and your family? Are those you went right to them to celebrate, didn't you?
Huge friend, a lot of big friends from back in the day and growing up with them and stuff, and it means a lot, and I appreciate it greatly.
How much did just the general, obviously a lot of people are making a lot of noise when you're bowling. How much does that help you as a bowler?
Well, it keeps me focused and knowing that people are there, but just more of my mental game and staying in the moment and taking each shot day by day or shot by shot or whatever and making good shots.
We saw you a couple of times. Sue and I commented on we got the 3 slapper out of you after a couple of, but what's it going to take to get 4?
Just more good shots, I guess. More good shots. Hopefully the pins fall.
Right. All right. So, Sue, as we predicted, we thought we were going to see some really fun, special stuff here, and we certainly set the bar pretty high.
Yep, that's right. The prediction of a 300 was early in the day, and we got it out of the way in our first show.
All right. Why do you think this is a bowling center that lends itself to high scores and cool moments, especially for yourself?
With the shots, relatively easy. The house shot, you got some room to make error and stuff, and as long as the pins fall, as long as you make good shots, you shouldn't have too much of a problem.
All right. Well, we know we're getting you back on next week's show. You're going to have to sit and wait for people to come to you. You got another win in you?
I sure hope so.
Yeah, well, we know the crowd thinks he's got a few more wins in him. We'll see how long Steven's going to stick around and keep this crowd fired up. What a way to get things started here. Our first 300 game on Beat the Champ. He's the guy that did it, and we're going to get to see him again next week. What do we have in store for you next week? The only way to find out is join us right here on Beat the Champ, presented by Storm.